everybody. Hope y'all having a good morning. On the road with wifey and the fam. Headed to Lake Charles, Louisiana. Say what's up, babe.
Good morning.
Alright, so it's been a minute since y'all got to get me and wifey talking at the same time. So yes, this is as good as time as any. First thing I wanted to start off talking about was the post that I put up with the clip from the movie Soul Food. Now I know that whenever we talk about the topic of cheating, you know, we hear a lot of the same responses, and that's part of the reason that it's so difficult for men to talk about topics like this, and for women to actually get a real male perspective. Because a lot of times even when a man is trying to explain how a situation like that happens, a lot of women are extremely dismissive of it and only stick to their cliches or just general basic knowledge. You know what I mean? Like yelling that cheating should never happen or nothing should ever lead to cheating. Like that don't really accomplish anything. That does not help anybody that is in a position where they've dealt with this or a situation like this takes place. So when I thought to use the clip from Soul Food, I decided to use it because I thought it was a very good teachable moment where throughout the movie, for those of you that saw it, if you haven't watched it, it's definitely came out like almost 20 years ago, but it's definitely a classic. You should check it out. Soul Food. They even made a TV series based off the movie. So, very popular movie. Vivica Fox, Nia Long. Who else was in that movie? Mekhi Phifer. Just a bunch of notable actors and actresses. But in the movie, the wife Terry, which was who played Terry? What was her name? Vanessa Williams, right? Vanessa Williams. Okay, so in the movie, her and her husband were both attorneys and was living a ballerific lifestyle. But she was very inaffectionate, very dismissive of her man, and so it was shown throughout the movie. She didn't really support his dreams and aspirations. He was a very talented musician.
She often belittled him.
She often belittled him. He was in a group. She never came to see him perform, never did anything supportive of him. And so that was done intentionally. And one of the climaxes of the movie was he ended up cheating with her cousin. It was a younger cousin. A lot of people call her the thought of the family or whatnot. But she was, very attractive. But she was a dancer. And so she came back to the family, and the wife allowed her to stay at her own. And due to the circumstances of the marriage and the man feeling neglected and how his relationship with his wife was going, he ended up sleeping with the cousin. Now, I think most people that watch the movie would consider the character Miles to be a quality dude. Like the sex was a situation that most people could honestly say just happened. He wasn't trying to holler at the cousin behind her back. He wasn't, like trying to get with the cousin. He wasn't pursuing her, but he was helping her. She had a dance audition. He played the music for her, and she actually listened to his music and listened to his dreams. So she was actually giving him the support and the listening ear that his wife was not providing for him. And so it was kind of a perfect storm on a scenario that can happen to virtually any relationship. One of the first things that our pastor taught us when we went to marriage counseling was that anybody is capable of cheating under the right circumstances. And so it's your job as a spouse or to be a good husband or wife to try to eliminate those things that we know lead a person to cheat or feel the need to cheat. And so that's a lot of the things that I talk about on my page. Ways to make a man that gets in that predicament choose not to make that decision. Things that can make him feel like it's not worth it. And so, babe, what are your thoughts on the whole situation with Miles and Terry?
Well, my opinion about the whole situation with Miles is that, of course, he cheated. Cheating is never right. But I think that people's foolish thought pattern behind the cheating is wrong, he shouldn't have done it, that's just not gonna cut it, like, you need to leave him, he's in the wrong. I think without taking the accountability for the mistakes that the woman made. Because a lot of people are like, she didn't force him to do anything, and I'm agreeing with that. She did not push him into cheating with this woman. Like, this is a decision he made consciously by himself. However, you're a damn fool if you don't believe your actions can persuade someone to do something else. And a lot of people are like, oh, what I say, you still have your own mind, blah, 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 blah. Okay, then why are there motivational speakers? There are motivational speakers out there so that they can speak to people in the public and give them insight to help motivate you to move in a certain direction. So when someone is speaking about something or their actions are doing something and it makes you feel a type of way, you're going to immediately respond in an opposite way. So I believe with all of the things that she was doing, it was motivating him to move away from her and have less loyalty to her because she wasn't really, gravitating towards him as his complement. So I think that she kind of set those tokens up to push him to the actions that he led to. I don't think that she said, oh, I want you to cheat on me. That's not the obviously, but I think her actions and the way that she played out the whole thing, not being supported, not knowing that someone that is trying to get a man of the caliber man that you have will do whatever it takes to get that type of man. So I think that was her downfall and faults. And he did try to talk to her several times. You could see he tried to make, a bridge to talk to her about the issues that bothered him, and she always was dismissive and blew it off. So that's already not the fundamental key to like a strong, healthy relationship. And like he spoke in marriage counseling, it does say that, your whole love bang, all of that stuff, you need to make sure that you contribute and make positive deposits into your relationship. And her constantly making withdrawals and NSF checks that she writing and shit, the man just had enough of it. So yeah, I agree that now is it justified? No, but because it's never justifiable to cheat on someone that you love, but it does make logical sense why he did it. That's me.
Okay, now a lot of people that were in the comments brought up the fact that at the time that it happened, she was dealing with some family turmoil. Her mom was in the hospital and ended up passing away. She was having some turmoil with her sisters. As far as one of her brother-in-law went to jail over some situation. They were trying to decide what they were going to do with their mom's brother that was living in their home, and whether or not they were going to sell the family house. So there was a lot of stress and turmoil going on in her life as well, and so that does need to be taken into consideration. But in response to that, I'll say that Miles was there for all of it. He was a critical part of their family. His finances went to helping the family. They referenced that whenever the family needed money, Terry and Miles were who they turned to. So he was all for her in supporting her in relation to her family and the family issues that she had. And so when
and if she was a smart woman, she would have leaned to her husband for support in the time of need instead of channeling that someplace else. So whenever you're stressed and you have that's why you have a husband, so that you can allow him to take some of those burdens off of you. And she didn't allow that because Terry seemed to have that mentality, like she didn't allow her husband to be the leader. She wasn't trying to follow him. She was the one that was initiated being that Like if she would have taken on more of that role that is expected of a wife, submissive, supportive, but still your say-so has some merit in what the decisions you make, she probably wouldn't have been in that situation in the first place. She was stepping out of boundaries of what's expected of a woman.
All right, now there's a couple other things, different perspectives that I want to just get your thoughts on. So a big part of the movie was, well, at least what I got from it, one of her sisters, I think it was her younger sister, she was happily married and had 3 kids, right? And her husband, back when they were younger, actually dated her sister. And so her sister ended up taking her man from her, and they went on to be married and have 3 kids. I think throughout the movie they showed that really bothered her, and she was really jealous of that situation. Understandably so. I totally get why she would be in her feelings over a dude choosing her sister over her. And so, so the thing that I want to, the topic of discussion that I want to bring up is, okay, so she lost a good man to her sister, who ended up being family oriented, a family man, having a long-term marriage, etc. Right? And then she ends up getting a quality man, getting married to a man that got his shit together, etc., and ends up losing him too. How do you think that a woman that experienced that in real life would take the self-assessment and hold herself accountable on what she did to cause those situations? Or do y'all think that she would just play the victim? What do you think?
I think a woman with her type of personality is not going to accept fault for any of that. She's going to completely blame that on the fact that she hasn't found the right quality type man, instead of doing a self-evaluation to find out what qualities she's lacking that's causing quality men to run away from her. So I think that's an important characteristic for females to have self-evaluation. Like, I often do things, and in my head I'm like, why the fuck did I do that? And I have to kind of step back and be like, yeah, never again. I need to adjust my behavior. If you don't have that type of checkpoints for yourself, then you're not accountable for your own actions in the first place. So you're always going to play the victim role and blame it on somebody, something else other than yourself, because you feel like you're doing right.
Absolutely. Accountability is a big thing. People are expected to be accountable at their jobs. They're expected to be accountability with their platonic friends. So you're expected to be accountable for the things that you do that impact your spouse or your partner as well. A big thing when we're talking about cheating is cause and effect. And whenever the topic comes up, there are a lot of women that seem to want to ignore the fact that a woman can make a man or a woman. Men and women typically cheat for the same reasons. But there are a lot of things that a woman can do that increase the chances of her man finding comfort in another woman. That increase the chances that when he's in a position where he has to make a decision whether he's going to be loyal or do something he's not supposed to do, they increase the chances that he's going to make the wrong decision based off the way that they treat them in the environment that they create around their relationship. And so whenever we talk about cheating, the first thing that always comes up is, he should have talked to her first. He should have talked to her. Where a lot of men try to talk to women all the time. We see how quickly women dismiss men's feelings. We see how instantly they ignore the male perspective on a lot of different topics. You know what I'm saying? Instead of figuring out what makes a man feel like that, they'd rather just say, cheating is always wrong. Cheating should never happen. There's no excuse for cheating. And so they don't want to they don't